Welcome to the Joy of Coding.
Hello, and welcome to the Joy of Coding. Episode 47, I appear to be blue. Not sure what's going on there. Let me just quickly try something with my camera. One sec. Sorry about this. I'm gonna... Whoop. Whoop. Better! Hey, hey! I don't know if I was blue for you, but I was blue for me. I was like a Smurf. Hi, welcome to episode 47 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley. We're going to be hacking on Firefox again today. Sorry, we're starting just a little bit late. Only about a minute or so. It's not too bad. Let's get started. What are we up to?
Here we go!
Okay, one thing I want to do, looking at the agenda, first of all, yeah, am I recording? Is my mic on? Yes, we're all good. I wanted to mention that I don't have an episode next week. I'm going to be traveling next week, and so I won't be able to do an episode. So sad. Sorry about the no episode next week, but I will be back with a vengeance the week after, and I'll hit it extra hard. The thing I wanted to do today was some work on the T-Paint Talos performance test. I'm trying to rejig it so that it works slightly differently to get some more interesting data. I'll talk about that in more detail later, and then if we have time, I have some reviews to do. But before that, I also wanted to respond to some feedback I got during... so there's this Rate This Episode link. This entire agenda, by the way, for the people who are new, this entire agenda that is on my screen here is available for you to click on. So if you go to the Joy of Coding, so here's the episode that's streaming right now. Hopefully, okay, good. I've clicked to play it. Otherwise, I'd see this like delayed video, and I don't want to see that. But under the additional links section right here, if you click on that, there's the agenda that will actually take you right to the agenda. If you skip this Evernote ad, you get the agenda that I'm looking at here with all the links that you need. And one link that you might enjoy is this Rate This Episode link right here. And that will allow you to let me know what you thought of the episode. And one thing that I heard from the last episode is that some people aren't clear on how to join the IRC channel to talk to me while I'm doing this live. So under additional links as well, there's this other bit. I talk about the live hacking back channel on irc.mozilla.org. IRC is like this old chat protocol. It's been around for a long, long time, and it's not... There are clients like you download a program. You can download a program and it will connect to an IRC server, and then you can talk. And downloading a program and installing it and going through the rigmarole is not always the most pleasant way of going about it. So there are web-based chat clients as well that you can run in your browser, and I have a link to one right here. So if you click on this link, there's this like web client link. I'll click on that. You go to this, and the UI is not amazing, I will not lie, but it allows you to choose your nickname. So I'm going to choose, this is just like the built-in nickname, and it's already preset to go to the live hacking channel. And then if you hit go, then there's like server stuff that happens, and eventually, blam, you're in the chat, and I can say, hello. That's me talking right there. And the actual me, the one that I would respond to you with, is one of these two M. Conleys. So one of them is M. Conley Live Hacking. That's the one I usually talk with whenever I am... when I'm live hacking, and I have a second one here for my other machine. And there's a bunch of other people in here, including Richard, who is helping to make this stream happen. So this is how you can talk to me, and you can get my attention in particular if you say my name. So if you go M. Conley, pipe live hacking, there's tab complete. You can say ping or hello, and see like this little thing goes off, and I can see it, and then you can talk to me. And that way I can, if something's wrong, so for example, you can't hear me, or I'm blue, you can tell me in IRC, and that will help. So that's how IRC works. Hopefully that's useful. Yeah, I'm going to leave the chat room. Not like actually, but like for the fake user I just had. I just left the chat room. So hopefully that helps people who need to connect to connect. For everyone else, if you're not in there, you should be. Well, for everyone, you should come join the live hacking channel. We're pleasant folk. Quiet but pleasant. Okay, so let's get down to business. What are we doing today? I'm working on this bug about rejigging the T-Paint test. So with electrolysis, the project I've been working on, and if some of the terms I'm using aren't clear, I have links in the agenda to, like, there's this glossary section, so there might be some useful stuff in there, specifically about like what electrolysis or E10S, which I'll often shorten it down to, what it means. Click on that link to check it out. But that's what I've been working on for the last little while, is making E10S work. That's the multi-process project, and we're hoping to ship it soon. But one thing we've noticed is that so there's this dashboard. I don't know if it's on production yet, but there is a dashboard on the alizom.org, which is like, it's Mozilla backwards, and that's where we stage stuff. And there's this perf herder E10S dashboard, and there are all these performance tests where, in a bunch of them, we do really, really well. Like, it's comparing non-E10S to E10S. And so red is bad, orange is maybe bad, green's great. Green's very good. And so for a bunch of these tests, we're green. Like, holy smokes, we're doing way better with TSVGX. T-Scroll-X, we're doing quite well, except for Windows XP. We're doing really well with TS-Paint. Now, there are some of these tests where we're not doing so well on. We're doing really well with responsiveness on the TP5 set, and memory usage in the parent process, and on session restore tests. But there are some tests that we're performing poorly on. One of these tests is the T-Paint test, and I've been looking at that. Like last week, we were looking at performance profiles, and we noticed that we were spending some time in like a couple of these sync messages. And one thing that I've been asked to do is determine whether or not we have regressed performance when users open. So there are two ways of opening new windows. Those two ways are when the user like manually opens a new window. So if I hit Control N, that will open a new window. And the other way is if the user has, there's this way of doing it. So there's this is checked by default for most users, but you can uncheck it. This tabs section here, if you uncheck open new windows in a new tab instead, and let me see if I can find the test case. Yeah, so if I click on a link that would normally open in a new tab, now because I unclick that pref, it opens in a new window. And that's the way browsers used to work a lot before tabs really became the way to go. Tabs were the thing. Who had them first, Opera or Firefox? I've heard Opera. I don't know. The jury's still out. At least I've never seen definitive proof. Okay. So there are two ways of opening new windows, and the current T-Paint test measures the second way, which is where you click on a link and it opens a new window. And we feel that that is probably less important than the case where the parent process asks for, because this stuff down here is in the content. This is the content process requesting that we open a parent or open a new window. And if I hit Command N, that's the parent saying let's open a new window. So there are two slightly different code paths, and T-Paint currently tests the content one. And we want to switch it temporarily to see what happens if we compare E10S to non-E10S when the window is open from the parent process, like as requested by the parent process, because we feel like that's probably more common, and we feel like that information will be useful to determine whether or not we actually care about this regression, because that's the first thing to do whenever you have regressing tests. Like, just because all of these are red doesn't mean like, oh, we better fix everything here. The first step is there a problem? Like, this is signal. I know it's red and dramatic, and that's interesting, but like, is there actually a problem? How much do we care about that problem? How much of a problem is it? Maybe those two are the same question. And then what can we do to fix the problem? So we're in this sort of second, third stage of like, how big is the problem? How much do we care about the problem? Because there's apparently a problem with T-Paint, but how much do we care? And finding out whether or not this is only regressing in the content case helps to answer that question. So that's what I'm going to do now. Is I've been modifying the test, and I did a bit of work on this yesterday, and it's almost done actually. There's just a little bit left to do, and I'm gonna do it with you. So where am I at? I'm at the point where if we run the Talos test, the T-Paint Talos test, and there's a bit of like starting up that needs to occur. But when we run that test, we open the browser. Well, first of all, Talus will open a browser and close it down immediately to like set up the profile. But then I know it says resize in here, and that's a fragment from a thing I copied. But I'm actually opening Windows here. Oh. Oh my. I locked up. Oh, I wonder if I locked up because I was actually done. Yeah, dump log is not done. Yeah, so I opened a number of windows there, and then I stop. And at that point, we should report the results down to the console so that the Talos Python stuff can parse it out and send a result off if this was running an infrastructure. But we're not doing that part yet, and that's the part we need to do. We need to actually get the results and dump the results. Like, we actually have the results here, but this code that I cribbed from the original T-Paint test doesn't work because dump log is not defined in the scope that I'm in. And so at this point, I don't care about clean code. I want a quick and dirty solution. So what I'm going to do is, because down in T-Paint test, this stuff's run in content, and this stuff has access to the dump log function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to message down the fact that, like, the results that we got to the content, and then content can then run dump log and then quit. And this is something similar to what the t-resize test does. I've cribbed a lot of this from the t-resize test because I just want quick and dirty. That's why, like, that window that first came up, it says resize. And actually, I'll get rid of that right now and just say T-Paint or T-Pain if you like vocoder or auto-tune. That was just a bad joke.
I don't think so.
I guess my joke's not very good. So what do we want to do next? We want to message the results down to content. I believe that's something that t-resize does. So let's see if we can crib some of that stuff. So in t-resize, when the test is completed here, it like creates this array, this return value array thing, and it puts a bunch of the strings in there, and then it will call the done callback. I see. When T-Paint runs, it will dispatch this event, and that's it. So maybe, and when t-resize runs, it will also do this, but how is log results called? Log results. Right. So there's this frame script that's going to call that function with the result. Okay, so we can do that. We can do that. That's easy. Unique message ID. All right. Let's do that. So we have our frame script here. This is a very similar frame script, and I'm just going to toss that right in there as well. I have this t-resize prefix. I didn't rename it. I'll do it right now. Find and replace. Again, a bunch of this is just cribbed from find and replace. How do I find? I guess I have to do it this way. t-resize prefix, and then I want to replace it. Replace with t-paint prefix, and replace all. Do it. So done. And then I want to, Chrome run reply. So I'm going to have to send that down with the ID. Sure. I don't know if I care too much about this ID thing that was in the other test, but I might as well just do it. When run test is called, how is that triggered? The frame script hears about it, and then it will send this Chrome run message, which is listen to inside. Right. Okay, I got it. And we can get rid of this dump call. And then send result is this thing That's what we want. Yeah, so Chrome run reply is already being sent. We might have actually already done all the work just now, because a lot of the infrastructure was still there from the t-resize test. So maybe we fixed it. Maybe now we are sending down results. Let's find out. Window opens. I'm only opening 5 windows. 5, and then do results go down? Come on, nothing. Oh, I'm not doing the, oh, okay. I'm not doing the work. So this is all ready. This thing that's running in the parent process, it's all ready to send the results down, and the run test method is receiving it in tpaint. So run test is receiving this callback, but that callback is never being called. And so I'm gonna just sloppily done callback, and then done callback equals callback, sure, and then this is the stuff I want to put inside the, like, the done callback I believe takes an array. That's what t-resize did. The done callback, yeah, it takes a messages array. Finish retval. Retval is an array of strings. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna take these things that we were putting into dump log, but now we are going to put them in an array instead. So dump log is going to turn into res.push. So I can do a search and replace there. Find and replace. Dump log with res.push. Replace all. Cool. And then I'm not going to do the force quit because I think the child will actually do that if I do it right. So now at the end of report times, I'll call the done callback with the results, and then that should send the results down to the frame script. The frame script will call log results down in here, and then we need to define log results. And log results is this bit, and I'll just copy that again. I'm just sloppily just smashing code in because I don't care that much about it being really nice. And then go quit application will be required. So this thing needs to be able to quit, and so it needs to have access to the quit script. So that's there. Blam. All right, let's see if that works. First time, we'll see. And if it does, well then, hey, we got ourselves a stew going. We can push that up to try and get our results and find out whether or not, who knows, we might even have results by the end of this episode. I wouldn't count on it. Sometimes our try infrastructure will take too long. 3, 4, 5. Hey! All right, we got some results put down. This is great news. Subtests, replicates, name, tpaint. Hooray! Hooray! That's good. Sweets, Talos, tpaint, then all this stuff. Now, is subtests. Does t-resize do subtesting? So that's the thing that, like, I need to make sure that whenever we run these tests that, like, the ingestion is going to work properly by our Talos stuff, and it looks like it'll be okay. Like t-resize and tpaint, I guess, emit the same stuff, and so hopefully tpaint will accept the stuff that I'm dumping out. Start report, end report. So, like, if I do a t-resize test, what does the output look like? Does it look like this replicates thing? So I'm going to take that perf header data, I'm going to put it in my notes so I can, like, refer to it later, and then I'll just do one run of tresize. So that's under test.py tresize right here. I'll just do one cycle. Bam! Tresize. Hit me! Whoa! Look at that window opening. Look at it resizing. Look at it go. Go, 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 go. Done. Yeah, all these. Oh, so it only has one replicate and a value. Is that what did I have under value? Subtests. I did have a value. I did report a value. Okay, and I think maybe that's important. Does it have a subtest? Yes, it does. And now what happens if I run the old tpaint? So I'm going to commit this stuff. And then take a look at what happens when I run the old tpaint to see what it emits. So this is what tresize emits. So this is new tpaint. Tresize emits that. Old tpaint emits what? So I'm gonna go back to the, where am I in the tree? I'm gonna go back to central. And I'm going to make tpaint only run 5 times again. Old tpaint, the way you do that is over here and just say 5. Sure. All right, what you got? Show me what you got. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it emits this stuff: suites, replicates, name, tpaint. Hey, I think this is gonna work out. I think this resembles the format of the data that we were passing in with the new tpaint. So name, tile, suites, subtests, replicates. Is this so we've got an array here, and then we've got replicates, and we've got some numbers. And already I can see that when we open it from the parent process, we are scoring way better, at least on OS X. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that it's from opening from the content process is where the regression is, at least locally. That seems to be the case. Okay, so how am I going to test this? Let's see. So I'm going to revert my change. I think I just changed that one number, but just to be sure. I can go back up to the tip, and this is what I'm going to push to try. Now the platforms that are reporting bad news, like OS X was, oh man, 33193, 42337. I guess what I want to do is, you know what, even locally, I want to test this really quickly. I'm going to see what the scores are for without E10S and then with E10S to see if they seem similar, just to eyeball, because I'm curious. And this is not definitive in any, with any stretch of the imagination, by any stretch of the imagination, but like I'm just curious. Show me, Talos. Show me what you got. I need to get that clip in here. Okay, so we got the value of 233.944. It doesn't give me a standard deviation, but just looking at this, I'm seeing it wavering. Like at the low end, it was 220, and then at the high end, it was 238. So each one gets a little more expensive, interestingly, and but it's mostly hanging around these like mid to high 230s. In this one instance, is 220. Okay, so now how about with E10S again? Oh, I already have a value. You know what? Let's compare against the one I already have. New tpaint emits. So we already answered this question. Format looks good. So that's what I'm going to write. Format looks good. E10s locally without, or tpaint locally without E10s. That's what we ran, right? Is that what we ran? Was that without E10s? Shoot, now I don't remember if E10s was on or off. Okay, let's do it without E10s again. I think it was without, but this is science. Rinse and repeat. Okay, so E10s is off. Just so we all know. E10s is off. And we got this value here. With E10s off, we got this. And I guess the value, like this is the stuff I care about. Give me a sense of the deviation and then the value. And then and already like it's interesting the spread. This is a noisy test. This is up to 242. This is down to 215. That's both lower and higher than before. Tpaint locally with E10s. I mean that's why you run it for 20. You do 20 window opens. But at least we can, I think just running these 5 locally and just seeing, we may be able to just sort of eyeball and make a guess over whether or not our hypothesis is probably correct. The hypothesis being that there will be no big difference between E10s and non-E10s if the windows are open from the parent. And yeah, opening from with E10s, so I see oh, that's slightly higher. Oh. That is slightly higher. All right, well, let's find out. Let's push it to try and find out for real. So we got some work to do. So we've got the parent checked out, or the tip checked out. And then we've got this tpaint directory somewhere, right? Tpaint, yep. Add-on, content. Tpaint, we're going to have it run 20 times because that's what the original tpaint runs at. We're going to run it with both E10s and non-E10s. So the tpaint test, we're not going to profile. I've not instrumented it for profiling yet. But the platforms we care about are all of them, I'm pretty sure. All of them. So Linux, OS X 10, Linux 64, OS X. What else? Win32, Win64, and WinXP. So Win32, Win64, opt only, and then the the tpaint test is part of the which group? I think I wrote that down somewhere. Tpaint is part of the other group. Oh. So that's part of the other group of tests, and we're going to do it with E10s as well. Blam! And then we also want to retrigger Talos jobs 5 times each. That is our try syntax. That is what I'm pushing to try with. Blah, 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 blah. Push to try. And then this is bug. I'm going to say bug that test tpaint, or make tpaint open windows from the parent. Bunch of stuff. Manifest. Just trying to remember if was there anything else that needs to do. The tpaint test opens at a file URL, so it'll keep the content process open. So here we go. We've got our try push here. Blam. All right, that work is done. We are blocked on a try build. Hopefully that stuff works. We'll get some numbers in soonish. We might actually, our Linux builds are pretty fast, and so are our OS X ones. So it's possible we'll even have numbers for OS X and Linux within the hour. Although OS X, it looks like there's a bit of a backlog on the test queue there. Definitely there is on Windows as well. Linux, not so much. Linux, we just spin up another EC2 instance or something like that. We use Amazon for that. Okay, so that work is done. That work is on hold for now while we're waiting for information. Whoop. So done this, and now we're doing this. I'm gonna review some code. So I've got some code in my review queue, and we're gonna check it out and see what's going on. Two of these, one of them is a bug to fix a test. Hopefully it's straightforward. We'll see. I haven't looked at it at all yet. And the other one is someone contacted me from HP a couple months back about trying to make print preview better. And now they've got a patch up for activating reader mode while like having an option to activate reader mode while you're in print preview, and then printing from reader mode, which is a pretty cool idea. Because I don't know if you've ever used reader mode. If you go to, like, say hacks.mozilla.org and you're on a page, well, let's see, like a blog post or something, our reader mode, this little icon will come up in the URL bar saying you can view this in reader mode. And if we go into reader mode, then we have this like super slick breakdown of the page, and it's like it's nice and slick. And you can already print from this. Like if you attempt to print from while in reader mode, you can. It'll do it. But what we're thinking is on platforms where we have print preview, which is not OS X right now, we can activate reader mode and then print that way, so you can trace it from there. Okay, so that's the other bug. But this one's about a test fix, and we're fixing browser bug 435325.js to work on E10s. So the first step is, of course, to read the bug to get familiar with it. But before I do, I'm just going to close some of these other tabs down and get them out of the way. Don't need it. Okay. So according to Heist, this test tries to access the net error page in content to click the Go Online button and then to check to see if that actually works. It times out when run under E10s. Dow says, I removed has browser handlers from tab content.js since it's unnecessary and misleading. Unlike the browser.js code setting that attribute, this code deals with about home. So that's interesting. Dow's kind of gone above and beyond here. So I'm going to have to look into some of that. But let's first see what he's done to the test. So maybe we should read the original test. That's probably a good thing to do first, just to get a sense of what it was doing before, so that we know what it should be doing whenever Dow's done with it. So here's the test. And, oh, there's a nice comment at the top. Ensure that clicking the button in the offline mode net error page makes the browser go online. So I don't know if you know this, you can go offline. If you go to File, Work Offline, and then if I try and go to some page, I get this net error page that says offline mode. And there is no button. Oh, try again, I guess, is what's supposed to put us into online mode. Interesting. And that's what this tests, that clicking that button puts us back online. So the first thing we do is we make this test async. So we say we're going to wait for an explicit finish, and then we add a tab, and then we put ourselves into offline mode. And we disable the proxy, the network proxy. So we disable all the proxying. We disable the disk and memory cache, and then we set the content location. So this already, like, this will work by way of the add-on shims, but it's not amazing. But okay, that will work. And then we wait for DOM content loaded. And because you can't wait for some reason, I don't know why this is, but load events don't come up from those error pages. Like if you ever see this page, if one of these pages come up and you are a browser developer, you don't get load events from these pages. You get DOM content loaded, and that's it. So It looks like we might get about blank at least once, or only once. Looks like about, which is expected once, so alright. The first time DOM content loaded is seen, and then we remove the event listener. This false is superfluous, that's false by default. Then we add a mutation observer, and we observe for the has browser handlers mutation. I guess has browser handlers is the thing that Dow was talking about. I don't know what that means. But then once we see it, we disconnect the observer and we call check page. And check page is going to still make sure that we're offline, and then it's going to reach down into the content, and it's going to make sure that we're at the net error page, the offline net error page. It's going to make sure that there is a try again button. We're going to re-enable the proxy, and then we're going to click the button, and before that we add an observer for going back online, and so we're waiting for that observer notification to fire, and then we clean up, and then we're done. So that's the test. We go offline, we go to a page, it says the offline thing, we click the button, we wait for the observer notification that we've gone back online. Okay. So what's Dow doing here? So Dow is, he adds a tab over here. I guess he's shortening down this select tab. It's just, this was like a double assignment, and now he's just like a one-liner here. And he adds the tab to go immediately there instead of twiddling content out location, and that's fine. Then he defines this content script to run down in the content. What is this? This is this like template string? Interesting. He's written this content script as a template string. He's doing some meta programming here. Interesting. So what we'll do is load the content script down in the child. Okay, I have some recommendations here. Huh. So now we have this. So I need to figure out what this has browser handlers thing is. Has browser handlers. What is has browser handlers? So it's in this one test. And then we add it here, and then we also add it here, and then we check it here. I guess it's a sentinel. It's a re-entrancy guard to make sure that we don't re-enter here, because we set it in here so that we don't, and then we don't re-enter because of it. Whoa. If not, our browser is success code. That's interesting. Does this stuff still need to be around? Because I feel like this stuff is already being done inside tab content. Maybe that's what Dow is saying. Let's go back to the bug. I removed has browser handlers from tab content.js since it's unnecessary and misleading. Unlike browser.js code saying that attribute, this code deals with about home. So has browser handlers, we care about when, if it starts, if there's an about page. If there is an about page, then we will add the has browser handlers. Then we will add click events, page hide, click page hide. Interesting. Browser on click. Handle command events bubbling up from error pages. Okay. What is... So when we handle an event, this is interesting. I'm not so certain. Oh yes, about new tab. This function prevents navigation from happening directly through the A link in about new tab. Open the URL in the current tab, which will make it update the remoteness of the tab. Like, who calls on about blocked? That's all in messaging. It looks like the only time we care about the handle event. So the event handlers for browser on click is one thing to think about. Then we have on page hide. We'll remove the click event handlers, and we'll remove the page hide event handler, and we'll remove that. So it looks like all this has browser handlers thing. Is has browser handlers even useful for the non-ETNS case? It looks like it's mainly used to make sure we only add a click event handler on a browser once. A click browser at an about page once. But that click event handler doesn't seem to do much. That click event handler is browser on click. A click event handler, browser on click. Doesn't seem to do much. In fact, it's only used for about new tab. In fact, it seems like it's only used for about new tab here. And what's it doing there? When we click on something on ETNS about new tab, in fact, it seems like it's only used for about new tab in the ETNS case here. Is top frame. This function prevents navigation from having directly through the A link in about new tab, which is loaded in the parent, therefore would load the next page also in the parent. It instructs the browser to open the URL in the current tab, which will update the remoteness of the page. Prevents navigation from happening directly through the A link in about new tab. I don't know if this is necessary anymore. When did this get added? Browser to open the URL in the current tab. I don't know if this is true. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the blame, the poorly named blame. Okay. Browser on click. Where are you? Come on, blame. So this is a very old file. That's why it's taking such a long time to calculate the blame, I think. So that's from Jim from way back in the day. Let's see when it got added. And then Felipe worked on it a little bit earlier. So let's take a look at those two change sets. This was back in 2014 in July. Forward clicks to Chrome.js for UX elements and about pages that load remotely. So he removed some stuff. Oh, he made a bunch of things work using messages instead, and that's good. Okay. And then before that, make navigation from About New tab load in the remote process. That's back in 2013. You know what? I don't know if this is necessary anymore. I have a feeling we can remove this. Let's test. Let's test if we can remove this. I have the ability to do that. Central, wait, do I have a diff? Yeah, I'm gonna commit amend that. Also, if you have any questions about what I'm doing or what's going on, please send me email or tell me in the Rate My Episode or send me a message in IRC because I can explain if any of this is unclear about what I'm doing. I'm happy to do it. Or I'll try anyways. I don't know if I can actually explain. I can try. I can make an honest effort to do it. Okay, so we're at Central. Let's see here. What am I doing? I'm going to browser.js and browser content click. Browser click has browser handlers. There, this thing. So one thing I could do is just get rid of this, but I'm also interested in if we keep that, if we have this browser on click thing, let's just get rid of this business down here. Let's just empty out the handle event, and then our test will be, can we navigate from About New tab to like click on a link in the About New tab page, so like a tile or something, and does that properly send me to a remote page? Okay, so let's open a new tab. So what have I got here? I've got CNN.com. I'm in a new tab page. These other pages are remote. So the question is, when I click on this, what happens? Will I go to a remote page or will I not? Click. I go to a remote page. Huzzah. Now, I noticed that there was like that worked. Is there mycalling.ca? Are there any edge cases that I can think of? Like if I open up a non-remote page, are any of these non-remote? No, but I could add one. So can I put about add-ons there? Sure. Okay, so I've got about add-ons there, and that works properly. Reddit. perfect. This seems to work just fine. You know what? I think I'm convinced that we don't necessarily need the has browser handlers anymore. Now, to confirm that, I'm going to run some tests. I'm going to run the component new tab tests. I'm going to run it. I'm going to run them without e10s and then with e10s. Yes, I should probably also check to make sure that like just clicking that link in non-e10s, the non-e10s case works, but it should. I mean, we're wow, that's fast. All right. Browser content, browser-based content new tab tests. Are there browser-based content tests new tab? There we go. Without e10s, hit me. So a bunch of tests are running. Tests doing their thing. Opening tabs up. Wah-choo! Testing a bunch of new tab stuff. Okay. Tests. I love automated tests. Look at all the things that I could be forced to do manually, but I'm not. Great. So that all passes. So if this passes with --e10s, I'll be quite happy. And I think we've got ourselves a thing we can say to DAO. This is all so that I can instruct DAO on how I think this should proceed. And I don't think we should be keeping that like has browser handlers thing around anymore. I think we can just flat out remove it. Test, 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 test. Come on. Pass for me. Feed me, Seymour. I don't know what that's from. I think it's from a movie. I heard Bill Murray say it once. Come on. Pass for me. Do it. Do it. I've got my finger over a sound button. I can't wait to hit it if this passes. I've got my pinky over a different button if it doesn't. All pass. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pretty happy about that. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to state my case for DAO. There's a new tab in the e10s case here, and that was added to make sure that we properly flip to the remote case when clicking a tile. But the flipping of remoteness was made more robust. That was added back in bug 907342. And since then, much work has been done to make the remoteness flipping logic more robust. I believe we can remove the event handler from browser on-click entirely to no ill effect. Local testing confirms this. Testing seems to confirm this. So I think this can be simplified by just flat out removing has browser handlers wholesale. from here and from browser.js. Along with the event handler on browser on click. What else we got? Pretty fancy metaprogramming you've got going on here. Winky face. I'm not gonna say fancy. That sounds too snarky. Pretty neat metaprogramming you've got going on here. With the removal of has browser handlers, I don't believe this will be necessary any longer. In fact, just this can all probably be simplified down to add task function, put us in offline, disable caches, etc. Yield browser test utils.with new tab. Oh, no, that won't work. Gbrowser, I like this. Select a tab equals add tab dot add tab that. And then yield content task dot spawn gbrowser selected browser null function add DOM content loaded event handler return promise that resolves when DOM content loaded fires. I think actually content task utils has something here. Content task utils. Wait for event. Yield content task utils dot wait for event, and then like subject event name. Content DOM content loaded, and then do the document URI check here, and then check that we're still off, re-enable the proxy, yield browser test utils, synthesize click event. What's the button? Error try again. I think it's synthesize click event. Browser test utils. Synthesize mouse, target, synthesize mouse at center. That, synthesize mouse at center. Let's see an example of that. Let's see, type, and then just like the empty object. Oh, and then the linked browser, empty object, linked browser. Maybe what we could do is let browser equals gbrowser, selected browser. Yield that, and then let online promise equal browser test utils wait for notification, I think it's called. Wait for this is content task utils again, browser test utils. We've got so many great things in here. I'm so jealous of them. Wait for add observer. Observer. Wait for attribute. Wait for observer. Promise observer. Wait for notification. I could have sworn we had something for, oh, we had test utils. Test utils. Oh. Test utils, topic observed. Test utils, test utils. Yeah, I think it's topic observed. Test utils dot topic observed. Re-enable the proxy. Topic observed. Yield online promise. Yield browser test utils. Remove tab. Gbrowser selected tab. So an offline stable and register a cleanup function to revert all that stuff. Hey Dow. Thanks for the patch. I gave a suggestion on how to refactor the test using browser test utils to make it less callbacky, but that's optional using add task. But that's optional. What I'm most interested in doing is simplifying things here. What I've discovered most interested in fixing is just flat out removing the has browser handlers stuff, since it appears to me to be useless, to be without use. Removing the browser handler stuff entirely, not just for E10S. Let me know if you have questions. Publish. Okay, that was one thing I wanted to do. So that's done, and then the other thing is this using reader mode, reviewing that code. Now the try push that I just did, I wonder how that's going. Let's just take a quick peek. So we've already got results being computed for Linux. That's really cool. So that built really quickly. That built in only 35 minutes. And these are going to come in now. These have been running for 3 minutes each. So by the end of this episode, we're going to know for Linux whether or not there is a regression when we open the window solely from the parent process, which is pretty exciting. Okay, so we'll come back to that later. I'm going to pin that tab. Come back to you later. In the meantime, let's review this other patch. So the way I want to review this actually is to take a look at it, not just like look at the patch, but like let's see what it's like. One of the problems with that though is that OS X doesn't have a print preview enabled. So what I'm gonna, and so I don't think that's a fair representation of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply it to my Linux machine's Mozilla Central, and we'll try it there. Okay, Linux box. First of all, will this patch apply to the version I have here? It wouldn't surprise me because a lot of printing code, this author I believe is only touching printing code, and our printing code tends not to change too quickly or frequently. I must not have BZ import working. Mock mercurial setup. So if you never run this, this is the tool that you use to like make sure your mercurial has all the best stuff installed, all the best extensions. Yeah, BZ export and BZ post and BZ import. Do I have that now? What about BZ import? Let me just quickly open up my HGRC. I'm putting it on a different screen because there might be some like private stuff inside my HGRC. Q import BZ. I have to activate that manually. All right. Whoopsie daisy. That's the sort of private thing that's you're not supposed to see. I had an API key in there. I will I will invalidate that in a second. Q import BZ equals tools HGX and Q import BZ. Alright, now I have to go and validate my Bugzilla API key. Hold on a second. It's all going over here now. Sorry for this. Because I shouldn't have leaked it. Security. Quick, don't use my API key to do anything evil while I try and reset it. Just want a browser over here. No! I'm in a race against time, against people who want to use my Bugzilla API key. This is important. Do not leak this. Preferences, API key. revoked. Okay. Good. So it's been revoked. If you were attempting to use that, it's no longer going to work. Any evil people out there. Alright, so now I can bring this back over here. And I've BZ imported the patch and it applied properly. Great. Now I will build. You can check it out. I'm going to close this thing down. And now I can bring my browser back. Whoa, that's all zoomed in. There we go. Sometimes, oh, I have an add-on that might be performing slowly. I'm going to ignore it for now. Any results? Oh, no, oranges. Why oranges? Flake 8 check failed. That's not a legitimate reason. Flake 8 check. I miss a pipe. Flake 8. Installing Flake 8. Downloading. Where was the failure? We did AL11Y, TS paint, and then T paint. There's T paint, T paint, T paint. Running T paint doesn't work. Why? It does work. I have numbers here. I just didn't post them for some reason. That's weird. Test unexpected, like failure. It doesn't make any sense. So like, do I not have any job details, similar jobs, failure summary, no annotations? Come on. I can't believe it. Why wouldn't you upload any data? All right. Well, now I've got all this like hand roll. This blows. So I've got a bunch of numbers here. And now I'm going to have to like manually calculate. All right. T-paint. So this is E10S stuff. The T-paint result, the first one was 20114. This is for E10S results. 20114. And then this one over here. T-paint is 20356. Sorry, that's taking me a while to see. Some of this is T-paint subtests. Name T-paint value 20356. Okay, yeah, it's rounding up from there. Got it. 20356. And then over. Okay, so we gathered these two over here. So I'm going to get the first one now because it's rolled in. T-paint result of 20114. What? That's the same as the first one. Is that likely? I know I've already looked at this one, but now I want to just double check here. T-paint 20356. And then the third one is 20114. Really? Is it that stable? T-paint. No, it is not. 20460. That's the value. It's the painstaking data analysis part. This is taking forever, and I wish that it just posted the results. I could have done this analysis more with machines instead of by hand. I shouldn't have to do this. This is work. This is what we program computers for. Why am I stuck here doing this? 20185. Blam. Even though I'm doing it with quickness and the precision of a machine, it's not nearly as quick or precise enough. Machines are way more quick, and so it's not exactly with the quickness and precision of a machine. Okay, so these are the results, the end results for E10S. And now we're going to look at non-E10S. We'll put those first. T-Paint result 200.29. T-Paint. T-Paint has a value of 204.41. These don't look that different, I gotta say. T-Paint 199.32. $196.72. Now, I think we can do a t-test against these to determine whether or not they're significantly different from one another, these two collections. I'll take the standard deviation as well. It's been a while since I've done stats, but that all sounds like, those sound like real words and real results. Linux, this is Linux 64. And meanwhile, in the background, my Linux build is building with the patch from that contributor. Okay, so here are the values. Now I'm going to open up a spreadsheet. Again, I'm going to create a browser off screen for a second, make sure I don't show you anything confidential in my drive, and so that we only show things that are open to public. Okay, new spreadsheet. Okay, so I've got a spreadsheet here. And it's going to think about resizing itself. All right, so let's put these numbers in. Is it smart enough to separate them? No. Okay. Well, maybe I can like import from a text input. Import, upload, or like paste special, paste values. No. All right. So this is, so we've got non-E10S results. We have E10S results. Okay. We have this number. We have this number. 10932. We have that number. Ugh, why didn't I do this the first place? Just copy the rest of it and then extract out that part and get in there. There we go. And for the next thing, maybe I'll do it the same way. Bam. Will this be faster? Let's find out. Enter. This is not significantly faster to have pasted it in here. Come on. Okay. Okay, so now after much after much work, and I'm going to show the scientific numbers. No, not that scientific. That's too scientific. Give me the numbers. There you go. So here are sets of data. And to me, they don't look too different. And I wonder if I can do a t-test. First of all, let's get their standard deviations. So standard deviations. I always like to do that before I just get a sense of the noise. Okay, a little bit more deviation there, but not by much. The geometric mean, geomean of that to that. And I guess I can just click and drag. Geomean is barely different. And then t-test, I guess I'll do that over here. T-test time, now what's this specifies the number of distribution tails. 2, I think. No. Error. Wrong number of arguments. Expected 4 but got 3. I thought this last one specifies the type of the t-test. It's supposed to be optional. Alright, let's do 1 for the example. Now what does that value mean? A t-test value. Correct me if I'm like, it's been so long since I've done stats. What does t-test mean? T-test. Learn more about t-test. No, don't take me away. Okay. Determines the probability associated with t-test. Determines whether two samples are likely to have come from the same two underlying populations. They have the same mean. Same about mean. The first sample of data, a group of cells. A paired test is performed. Two sample equal variance. Oh man, I don't know what I did. Paired is computed on a student's grade in first one. So what does that value mean? Oh man, t-tests. That's a thing I'm not good at. They don't look different to me. Like the geo means are the same. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this data inside the bug. And maybe someone with a little more stats background can compute it. Data has come, oh. Okay, so that's a response to Bill's comment there. So my try push in comment 19 does a quick and dirty job of causing the parent to open the open the new window. I've already got data in for Linux 64, and I think it's pretty compelling. Here, I'll do this like, what was it? I'm flipping back and forth, doing flips, non-ETNS. ETNS. So geometric mean is geometric mean. And I think it's pretty compelling. I'm not sure why Talos isn't ingesting it and showing it properly, so I've pulled the raw numbers from the logs. Avi-H, I'm not much of a statistician, but these to me look like nowhere near the what was it? What was the E10S? Alizom E10S. How much was the regression? T-Paint. So in Linux, we were at 195.88 with a standard deviation of 6.92. How many runs was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 runs. And then, oh, that was Linux 64 PGO. PGO. So that's, I can't do a direct comparison here because these are PGO builds. Can I? Okay. And then we're up by like 50%, and I'm definitely not seeing that. I'm definitely not seeing that in the. But these to me look like nowhere near the 47% regression that's being reported on. Note that the dashboard is for PGO builds. It is displaying results for PGO builds, so we can't do a direct numerical comparison. This suggests to me that the cost of this supports my hypothesis that that at least on Linux 64, the cost of opening a window from the parent process is the same for both E10S and non-E10S, is roughly the same. And that any regression we're seeing from the T-Paint test is due to the extra machinery that's kicked off when the content process needs to open a window. Do my numbers make sense? Do my numbers support look? Do my numbers look compelling? Look compelling argument for the above? All right. Any more numbers come in yet? Nope. Where's my Linux Talos numbers? What about Windows XP? Are you even going to run that? Come on. I might have to trigger some additional builds. Talos, OS X. .10 is what we care about there. So OS X 10.10 opt. O. And then Windows XP opt. O. Trigger. Good. Okay. So that analysis is more or less done. It's 2:31. I thought we were going to get to that print preview thing, but we're already at time, and this thing is not done building yet. So I don't think I'm going to be able to show you my review of it. And I think I'm going to call it. So this episode has been mostly about T-Paint stuff and a little bit of reader mode, but T-Paint stuff and a little bit of review for that one thing with that How's Browser Handlers business. Okay, so thank you so much for watching episode 47 of The Joy of Coding. I hope this was pleasant for you. I hope you got something out of it. If you didn't, or if you wanted to get more out of it, if you want to really let me know what you want, please rate this episode. Please click on the link right here in the agenda, right there. And if you're on YouTube, it's in the description. And if you're on Mozilla, it's in the additional link section. And let me know what you thought. Give me feedback. Let me know what I can do to make this better for you. I want to make this the best show it can be. So please let me know. We had a great first this episode where I leaked my API key for Bugzilla, which I then revoked. That's great. And yeah, well, I'll try not to do that again. Anyways, thank you so much for watching episode 47 of The Joy of Coding. I hope you had a good one, and I won't be seeing you next week. The week after, though, I will be back, and it's going to be a good time. I don't seem to have my mouse working on... Oh, there we go. Okay, great. So I've done all of the infrastructure needed to shut the show down, so thanks again for watching. Take care. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya. Whoops.